Well, guys, we're going to war in my latest 1997 series review of Starship Troopers. Stay tuned. Welcome, guys, to Mid-Level Media, and welcome back to my channel. And as promised, I am here today to talk about the film Starship Troopers as a part of my ongoing 1997 series titled The Mid-Level Chronicles Season 3, in which I'm going back and I'm breaking down 20 or more films from the year of 1997. Now, I'm doing most of these reviews on my Instagram page, so if you're not following me, go ahead and follow me over at Mid-Level Movie Reviews on Instagram. I am also on Twitter at the same name. Go ahead and follow me those locations if you want to get all the reviews, but I am doing something a little different this time because most of the movies that I review on my Instagram, I also review on my YouTube. This time, only here on my YouTube channel can you get this review of Starship Troopers. So if you want to see my thoughts on the film Starship Troopers, you can only get it here. So let's go ahead and break this down, guys. Starship Troopers is directed by Paul Verhoeven and stars Casper Van Dien, Denise Richards, and Neil Patrick Harris as humans in a fascist militaristic future wage war with giant alien bugs. So, guys, I'm going to be 100% honest here. Like, this is a movie from my childhood. I love it. It just, every time I watch it, like, it just brings back great memories of being a kid and watching this awesome sci-fi monster war flick. Like, this is so many movies in one, and it's just great. So I'm happy to be talking about this movie here today with you all. And I know that the plot might sound a little dumb, and obviously if you haven't seen this movie before, I highly recommend it. It's on Vudu right now for free, so you can actually get on Vudu and watch this with commercials. Now, if you don't want to have the commercials, you can rent it for, I think, $2.99. But you can actually get on there right now and watch this movie, and then come back and leave your thoughts in the comment section. Just let me know how you liked it. But this is an absolutely must-watch for any genre, sci-fi, war fans. Like, this movie is just so much into one, and it's really just a smart commentary on social class and economic structure. And the movie is based on a book by Robert Heinlein. He wrote this movie in 1959. So his vision for the future, and obviously, the movie makes some changes, but and I've never read the book, but his vision for the future was just so creative. And for him to take this idea of us warring with a intergalactic planetary bug system, that like throws asteroids to the world. I mean, it's an awesome idea, and it's really smart. It's really well written. It's a little tongue in cheek. It's kind of meta. It's really just kind of the way it's filmed, the way it's kind of displayed and directed is kind of like Nazi propaganda. So you see all these like little commercials, in particular the first 45 minutes of footage and like news stories and stuff going on. And at the end of each one, somebody at the bottom, they'll throw it across and be like, would you like to know more? And it feels like this propaganda, just the way our media operates. And the movie's just so smart, the way it kind of predicts the future. And to be honest, like, watching this movie, it doesn't feel like it's aged at all. Like, I feel like this movie could be made today and it would still be just as great as it was back then. But that's just me, and I could be having nostalgic glasses on when I'm saying that, but it's an incredible film. The effects for the time, to be honest, like, this movie is, effects-wise, is as good as Star Wars. And like, just with how they film like certain sequences in space and just the way it looks. And coincidentally, the 1997 special editions of Star Wars were released in the same year that this was. So when you go back and watch this movie, like, there are scenes and sequences that, because maybe they were actually filmed in 1997 and filmed to be released in 1997, like, I think they kind of look better than the re-releases that George Lucas did, especially some of the creature effects and just some of the things that they put in this movie as far as practical effects, creature effects, the CGI. It all looks great. Like, the actual bugs, when they get to the planet and start fighting them, like, they don't look overly produced CGI wise. Like, they look really good. Like, it's a really nice mixture of practical and CGI. And I would love to go back and see some kind of commentary or documentary on this film. I honestly don't know if there is one, just to kind of see how they did that, but it's really amazing and remarkable just that the creature effects and just the special effects this movie did. It still looks great. Like everything in this movie looks great. There's a couple of scenes that look a little wonky, like people are getting like decapitated and arms flying off in certain scenes, and you can straight up tell when somebody, there's this one sequence where this kind of bird alien creature comes down like a flying bug, takes this guy's head off, and you could tell as soon as the head pops off, the body's like a dummy, and it just kind of falls lifelessly to the ground. And those kind of sequences, I could tell it's pretty fake, but honestly, the effects are fantastic. I think they still hold up, but performance-wise, you have Casper Van Dien in this movie, you have Denise Richards, you have Neil Patrick Harris, and the film kind of follows those three, and then their story and how they advance in different aspects of the military. Like Denise Richards' character is a pilot, Neil Patrick Harris is kind of like the war room intelligence officer, and Casper Van Dien's Rico character, which I think is the only character that made it from the book to the film, is the one that's kind of on the ground floor, and he's not as smart as the rest of them. He's fighting on the ground. He's in the mix. He's in the war. And he becomes a great military leader throughout the movie, but it takes a little bit for his character to progress up to the level that his friends are at in the beginning. So the performance-wise, like you could say that they're a little cheesy, but to be honest, like I see that as intentional. So, I mean, I love it. Just the way that they're directed, it all feels like it was very tongue-in-cheek and just kind of meta, and it feels like they were intentionally directed that way, and I love all the performances. I love the way they act. I love the way they interact with each other. I think that all the characters have great chemistry with each other, and I just think overall it's great. But I mean, for the first 45 minutes of this film, it feels a tiny bit like a CW kind of teen melodrama. Johnny's got the relationship with Carmen, and this other guy's got the hots for her, and this girl has the hots for Rico, and it's all this kind of love triangle, square, whatever you want to call it, kind of stuff going on. And that's kind of the first 45 minutes as it's kind of establishing these relationships and how they're progressing through the ranks. And then about the 45-minute mark is when they actually go to war with the bugs. And that's when the movie really kicks into high gear. And there's some really incredible, awesome action sequences that are just brutal. Like, this movie is gory as hell. Like, they're chopping off legs, they're freaking stabbing people, blood splattering everywhere, they're shooting the bugs' arms off. Like, it's just some awesome stuff in this movie. And there's one in particular where they're on this kind of abandoned base that they've already attacked, and they've killed all these people. There's just body parts everywhere. And then they get attacked again, and you see just like thousands of these bugs swarming in. And it's an incredible sequence. As for negatives, to be honest, I don't have a whole lot, because a lot of the negatives you could levy against this film, I would argue that they were intentionally there. And like, this movie wasn't meant to be played 100% serious. It was kind of, it was almost, in parts, this movie is almost like a parody. And I just think it's so smart the way that it incorporates those elements into this. And, times it's serious when it needs to be, and it's kind of parody, tongue-in-cheek when it needs to be, and I think it toes that line just really well. And it's really something that Paul Verhoeven was kind of known for in this time, with RoboCop. He was a great director, the perfect fit for this movie, and he did a fantastic job. Overall, I just think this is a classic sci-fi monster film that still holds up today, and if you have not seen it, like I said, check it out on Vudu. It's on there right now. You can watch it for free, and let me know what you think about it. So I'm gonna go pretty high with this movie. It's a classic. It's something that I love. So it's not perfect. There are things about it that I could knock, but to be honest, it does everything right in my opinion. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie a 9 out of 10 for my mid-level review of Starship Troopers. Now, if you want to check out some of my other Mid-Level Chronicles Season 3 1997 series, go to my Instagram page right now. I already have reviews up for Chasing Amy, Good Will Hunting, and As Good as It Gets, so check those reviews out. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing more 1997 reviews. I'm also going to be doing some top 10 lists. I have a horror show that I'm planning that's going to come very soon that was requested by some of you in the comments of my last video. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more great content. Comment your thoughts on this film below. Go ahead and like this video. Just one little second. Just click that like button. It doesn't take very long, and it helps me out tremendously. Just click that like button right there, and we'll see you next time.